My name is Sergeant Aaron Fittery with North Augusta Department of Public Safety. I'm currently the sergeant over Traffic Division and the Community Action Team. And I'm also the founder of the Citizens Academy. The Citizens Academy is a class, a 9-week class. Several of us from the department come up with, at the request of Chief Thomas, when things were kind of bad between the communities and law enforcement throughout the nation. Chief Thomas come and to the department and asked if anybody would be willing to help with looking at developing a Citizens Academy to try to bridge the gap between police and the citizens. So I looked into it and looked into a bunch of different police departments that had Citizens Academies and programs like that, and I followed, you know, kind of their blueprint, and that's kind of how I built the program. So I would take certain things that I like in their programs, and then that's where I developed our Citizens Academy from. So I would say that first and foremost is for the citizens of North Augusta that live within the city limits, and then outside of that, we would probably go with Aiken County residents in South Carolina and then move out to Richmond County if we got that much of an abundance of people that put in. It's just for anybody who's interested, one, that's been interested in public safety, two, that might be interested in just the fire side, or three, you know, they're just interested in the police department. What a police department does, it's really for anybody that's curious about our public safety department and what we do, and curious about, you know, what law enforcement as a whole may be doing across the nation, and curious about where your tax dollars are going. You know, this is an opportunity for you to come inside of the department and take a look around and get to know some people on a more personal level than just, you know, meeting them out on the street at a restaurant or something like that, or in a bad incident that you have to call the police for. Typically, we run it for the fall, so we'll usually start somewhere around the week after Labor Day, and then we'll have it completed before Thanksgiving. The course is broken up into a 9-week program, and we use each week for something different. You never learn about the same thing each week. It always gets added on. So you may learn about something in week 2 that adds into week 5, but it's never the same topic per se. So week 1, we have a welcome time where you'll meet the Director of Public Safety and his command staff, and then at that time we'll do an overview of public safety and what we're about, how we were started, the history of public safety in North Augusta, and then we go on a tour of all of our stations that we have. Currently have 3 stations, and we go on a tour of all the facilities. So in week 1, during the tour of the facilities, we'll tour the jail, we'll tour our current courtroom, which used to be the old council chambers, we'll tour court and records, we'll tour the fire engine bays. You can actually see the fire trucks. We'll tour, you know, the day rooms where the firefighters live every day, where they sleep at night and things like that. Week 2 is dispatch.
Why is that? 2017 I had down here is 53,755. Why is it?
Internal affairs, public information officer, and victim services. So we have someone from each one of those jobs. They come in, they tell you about what they do, how they do their job, and how it benefits you as a citizen of North Augusta. During week 3, we kind of get more into what I call the funner side of the academy. We start to get into the fireground operations. We actually have the students dress out in bunker gear.
Alright, so once you feel like if it's stunk enough, and even cast a simple as
they actually man a hose line to see what that's like. We have a ladder demonstration where we show the aerial truck and show how it works and give them opportunity to kind of put their hands on the actual fire trucks and on the fire fighting equipment to see what it's like. Week 4, we usually go over our traffic division operations. We'll go over things like DUI, speeding citations, seatbelt, and things like that, and describe those laws. And we also go into our patrol functions a little bit. We actually discuss DUI. We actually run what we call a controlled wet lab, where we have an officer who we monitor. He actually drinks alcohol and becomes under the influence of alcohol, and we show the effects of alcohol on the eyes and the things that we look for when we're testing people for driving under the influence. And then of course it's in a controlled environment, so we make sure that he gets back home safely, and he has to zero out, so there's no question about his impairment level when he leaves. Week 5 is our narcotics and vice, gangs, narcotics detection K9, and our bloodhound tracking team. We use that night to teach people about the common trends that we see in drugs right now within the city limits. And then we do a demonstration with our drug detection K9, Lucia. She comes out and has a demonstration.
let's say a dog has been in here and you're like, you know that the dog is in there already.
And then also we show our bloodhound tracking team. We show how the bloodhound works, because the two dogs they're different, so we'd like for everybody to have a better understanding of how they work. Week 7, we go into our SWAT team operations, where we show you the different gear that we use for our SWAT team, for our tactical team. They have the opportunity to see a flashbang demonstration. In week 7, we also go over vehicle chases and show how we can slow those down by using a tire deflation device, commonly called a spike strip. And we actually let the students deploy the spike strips in a controlled environment where they can see what it's like to actually deploy them and see how it affects a vehicle. Week 8, we go into the firearm scenarios, and shoot and don't shoot is what we call it, or commonly call it. We do an inside, where you're brought into an environment like you're a responding officer to a residence. We do some scenarios that way. And then we also do traffic stop scenarios where you're the police officer, and you have an instructor with you who's kind of helping you along and telling you, and then the other instructors play the suspect or the people that are being stopped, so you can see what we see on a daily basis. And also there's some scenarios in there where, you know, a police officer might have to use his firearm, so you can see what it's like to have to make the decision of a police officer in a split second. Week 9 is defensive tactics, so we go into a short form of defensive tactics like taser. We also do go into handcuffing, and where we actually let the students handcuff the other students to see what that's like, and we show them, you know, some of our smaller forms of defensive tactics that we use. And actually, last year we had somebody who actually volunteered to be tased. That was pretty neat to have that. We also incorporate a full night of scenarios on a video system where the scenarios can change by how the student interacts with the video system. So depending on what you tell it to do, it may drop the weapon, it may use the weapon.
Put the hammer down. Let it go. Let it go.
Hey, sir, drop the weapon. Sir,
Put the hammer down now. Down.
sir.
Anytime your gun comes out, you want to have it on target, or at least at a low ready. We call it a low ready.
So you have to learn how to make learn what it's like to make the decisions of a police officer. It's pretty much a scenario type situation again, but it's a little more dialed back, and we can get a lot more scenarios done because the scene's already set up. Part of the Citizens Academy, we do a ride-along program that comes with it. So the only people that are allowed to do a ride-along are Citizens Academy students. So during your 10 weeks of Citizens Academy, you can ride for up to 2 to 3 hours per day with a police officer. You're not allowed to get out of the vehicle, but you can see the scenarios, and a lot of times you can hear them through our audio systems, like our cameras and things like that, so you can hear what's going on, and it gives you opportunity to see something that we might not go over in class, and then to ask questions about when it comes up. So it's a great thing to be able to have that opportunity to go out and ride with a police officer. So the final week, we have graduation for the students. They're allowed to bring their family members with them. We have a short ceremony where we pass out certificates for completion, and we also provide dinner that night for the student and their family. And give a time for their family to meet some of the people that they've been talking about the whole time, and just help develop that relationship. And a lot of times it's built into another relationship to where the spouse may not have come the first time, so they hear about it, so then they want to come the second time. It gives them an opportunity to speak with us. If you're interested in attending this year's Citizens Academy, you need to go to northaugusta.net and follow the public safety link in there, and there's another link that'll take you to an application for Citizens Academy, and it'll let you apply to there, and it'll be emailed directly to me once you submit the form. At that time, I'll contact you via telephone to tell you if you're accepted into the program.
Scenarios were the best. Part of it gives you a different appreciation, not only what you see on TV today in terms of other people, filming through their iPhones or whatever, versus really what the officer is seeing, feeling, and trying to assimilate and then make a decision within sometimes a couple of seconds.
Out of the whole Citizens Academy, what I enjoyed most was getting to know the officers and getting to know the other people that work with public safety when they come every week. And now when I go to a football game or when I'm going to the grocery store, or I just see them out, or they come to my school, I know them and we have something to talk about, and it's just nice to be able to put a little bit of background to the names and the faces, and just feel like I know them now a little bit better.
Well, first off is just learning about the way the public safety department works, all the different departments and the different roles they have, but understanding the challenges and how quickly you need to make a decision is just mind-boggling.
The scenarios made me realize again how much they are putting themselves out there, how much I'm not cut out for it. I went to several people and just said, we need to be praying for these people, because it's scary.
When suddenly a suspect gets out of the car and pulls a gun on you. Yeah, the heart's racing, adrenaline's flowing, and you get pumped up.
Absolutely, and I have recommended this to many people. I think it is a valuable experience to see the behind the scenes, to lift that curtain and see what's going on so that you can understand why the decisions are made. I'm hoping that some of the people I've talked to that have shown interest will come to the next Citizens Academy. I just think it's very valuable for any citizen to know why our public servants act the way they do.
I would highly recommend it to anyone in North Augusta to learn about how the Public Safety Department works, it's very eye-opening.
It made me want to thank them so much more for what they do each and every day, because putting yourself on the line and even knowing that it's a fake scenario and I'm not going to be hurt, your adrenaline goes sky high and you're shaking and you're thinking, oh my goodness, what would I do in this situation? And they do this for real, and they're real bullets, and they're putting their lives on the line, and it's just, I think that we owe them so much. Just the willingness that they have, and they do it each and every day, and that willingness to put themselves on the line for me and for my neighbors and for my students at school, that they do that and they don't even think twice.
I've always supported law enforcement, and the news seems to me to be biased against the law enforcement officer, but it reinforced my belief that the officers have a very difficult job, have to make literally split-second decisions that could be challenging to their life. And I need a lot of training before I was able to do their job.